Hello everyone, greetings and welcome to your favorite podcast channel, Nigerian Unfiltered. Shalom Ofomayode is my name, and I'm glad to welcome you to another episode. Today we're going to be looking at the new tax policy introduced by the federal government of Nigeria that will be effective January 2026. But before we start, I will start by my favorite quotes. Chinua Achebe clearly said, "Until the lion learns to tell his story, the hunter will keep taking the glory." James Baldwin, "History is needed to chart the course for the now and the future." Bob Marley, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery." And Jean-Jacques Rousseau, "Man is a free moral agent." Now let's go straight to the tax policy introduced by the federal government of Nigeria for the fiscal year of 2026. Now before I start, taxation, as most of us may know, is a compulsory levy placed on working people. A compulsory levy placed on an item, a good, or the public. As long as you are involved in buying and selling, you are involved in business, transaction, or economics, you are meant to pay tax. That's aside. Ideally, tax is one of the major ways government thrive and survive, meeting up its expenditure and meeting up its needs. However, Nigeria is a peculiar environment, an environment that the people have not been given the right menu, the dividends of democracy. Our leaders have failed to provide the basic need that is acceptable for governance. Let me take us aback to the state of nation. According to the Obesian theory, Thomas Hobbes, before the state was created, man was in a state of nation. And in the state of nation, it was attempt to be short, brutish, nasty. At that time, man was fully aware of his major function to protect his life and that of his family. That aside, according to Thomas Hobbes, men decided to come together unanimously to establish the state that will now be entrusted with the power to take care of the people, that is protection of human rights, human security, and what have you. The case of Nigeria is nothing to write home about. Okay, let's move away from that. Let's discuss quickly three tax principles: the regressive tax, the progressive tax, and the proportional tax. Regressive tax system is a system that taxes the poor more than the wealthy. In other words, regressive tax system is a fixed tax. For example, it is taxing per head. Every compound, every household should pay XYZ. So whether household A earns 1 million monthly, household B earns 20,000 naira, they are meant to pay a particular amount, which is fixed, equal amount. It is not in the favor of the poor, the downtrodden, and what have you. Of course, Nigeria cannot go for that. The progressive tax system, I would suggest it, however, it may not go well with the middle class. The progressive tax system is payment increases as income increases. In other words, if you earn 20,000 naira, there's an amount to pay. But as you keep increasing in terms of income, your payment will increase. That means percentage will increase. This is not favorable, like I said, to the middle income earners, because poverty is relative. Someone that is earning 50,000 naira is richer than someone earning 5,000 naira, and so it increases. Someone earning 100,000 is richer than someone earning 5,000 naira. That aside, the proportional tax system is based on percentage, fixed percentage. This one, most of the times, it is ideal because you are entitled to pay, let's say for example, 5% of your income. 5% of your income. That is, if you are earning 5 million, you pay 5%. If you are earning 5,000, you pay 5%. However, I like to sound this very clear. A country like Nigeria that has failed to provide the basic necessity to survive, no job, unemployment rate is increasing geometrically. Also, inflation is almost going to a stage of stagflation. And for the economist, stagflation is the point where economy will be at a gridlock. Nothing working. Economy moving back and forth. And at that point, we hope we don't get to that stage. Now, for the Nigerian government to come up and say that we should pay percentage of all income received into the bank, whether net income, income within the country or outside the country, as long as you have a bank account, you have a BVN and what have you, any money that enters inside your account will pay. It is a new form of kleptocracy. The government are looking for a new way to steal money and siphon money from the public. A government that has not done the needful, provided the dividends of democracy for common man, is now requesting more, biting more than he can chew. Is very, very unacceptable. How can the government say that every income that enters on, so if my father sends me money, not my money, I will pay tax. Whereas the person that sent me the money has paid his own tax. That's the new form of Yahoo. If the government wants to legalize or legitimize Yahoo, let us know. So we all do the Yahoo. How can the government say that because I have an account, if I have 10 accounts and it's linked to a BVN, every money that enters my account, I will pay tax for it? It's unacceptable. And I think that the government should revisit that tax policy. If they are pushing us and encouraging the public to start doing Yahoo Plus, let us know. It that particular clause, it is having a very, very, very hypocritical, exploitative, and deceptive foundation. If you are saying that every income earner should be taxed a particular amount, no problem. But you limiting it or generalizing it to every income coming into someone's account. So even if someone transfers money to my account that is not my own, I should pay tax. That means it's a double strategy, a double payment mechanism. The person that transferred money has paid his tax. I will pay my own tax. It's unacceptable. So my take is that before the government can fully institutionalize the opportunity and the part of taxation into this country, the government must be up and doing. A failed government that has failed to provide the needed jobs, security of life and property, electricity, and alleviate poverty, lacks the moral justification to tax our citizens. And that is why we find ourselves in Nigeria. At this juncture, I am sending this message to the appropriate quarters. At this juncture, I am sending this message to the appropriate quarters. It is important that the government hear this message. On the tax policy, we're not against it. After all, like I said, the United Kingdom tried basically on taxation, fiscal policy. However, before fiscal policy can be effective in a country like Nigeria, the government must be up and doing. Alleviate poverty, provide jobs, ensure security of life and property. Then we can have an understanding. See you at the top. Keep subscribing to Nigeria Unfiltered as you hear undiluted messages about the Nigerian government. Shalom, Ufoma Erude is my name. Bye.